frustrating to me because it's like, I thought in the previous episode that I made what I was saying abundantly clear, and not to go like all third person narcissist on you. When has Tana Mojo ever said anything and made it abundantly clear and it didn't get misconstrued and people completely understood her point and yada yada? Like,
I make some bad points sometimes too.
Hey. But all I was trying to say in that episode was I'm giving Brooke the week. Like, I want Brooke to have the week. Obviously. Yeah. So then Paige subbed in for that episode and all of the fucking comments are, we want Brooke, you're replacing Brooke, you just jumped ship so fast, yada yada yada. And it was literally just one episode.
Yeah, and I also want to be clear, it wasn't because the way it sounded was almost like Brooke needs a second, or needs a week. Like, I just wanted to really intake the situation and understand what was happening, and it just didn't feel appropriate for me to sit down on the couch so soon.
I said this in the episode that we shot, and I'll probably keep referencing that, but I'm just reiterating how I've been feeling. And call me the fucking villain for saying this, okay? People might not like what I'm going to say right now, but I think that the situation was very much damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, if you and I sat down and filmed an episode and it went out and we were just on the couch talking about anything at all.
Yeah, I think it would have been really distasteful.
So angry at that. So then it's you film with Paige and people are mad. It was just one of those where I felt
Yeah, and we should clarify beforehand. Tana and I, obviously, we were communicating about it, and I told her, listen, I understand you need to say that what I said was wrong, of course, because it was so wrong.
And I even said in it, I'm not coming at this from a holier than thou perspective.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here with the gavel saying, you know what I mean? That I get to condemn anyone. But it's I don't know, people just took it that way, and
I know, it was just, honestly, it was a lot of people coming from a lot of different directions, rightfully so, but I did, it's a frustrating feeling to feel so misunderstood, especially our dynamic.
I just want to say no one's getting fucking canceled off the Canceled podcast, and I have said this and will always say this. I truly believe that this podcast has amassed the success that it amassed because of our dynamic. And forgive me, it's not a word police, but our dynamic is irrecreatable, and I am not a word, and I'm
but there is a word for that, so we gotta find it.
And we could, but I just think it's irrecreatable.
I think it's irreplaceable. Wait.
Yes, but it couldn't be recreated with any other two people.
Okay.
And I'm so well aware of how special that is and what you and I have been through together on and off camera, on and off stage, just in life in general. I think most people would fucking blow up in flames. And I think we have somehow come out of it with the strongest trauma bond, sister bond money can buy. And I wish so badly that people didn't do what they do to our relationship online, because it is very highly damaging.
It's hard
to read a million things that aren't true about how you know what I mean?
It's so strange because you almost start to intake it and it starts to become true, because it's if I'm reading 1,000 comments that say Tana hates Brooke, all of a sudden I'm oh my god, Tana hates Brooke.
Yeah, and it's not
natural. This isn't something that
most it's not that I'm bitching about it, because it comes with fame, it comes with money, it comes with the shit. I understand that, but I can also recognize that sometimes that is emotionally incredibly difficult to handle.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just one episode, and then I had to fuck off for a second. I'm really sorry shit's late, but it was that or the ward, folks.
I feel bad that I kind of dragged you back into it, because obviously you've done your whole, you've come back from all of your scandals and cancellations and stuff, and I feel I kind of
I've made apology videos for my apology videos, and I did
that too. Yes.
And I am fine with doing that for the rest of my life. For everything I have ever said or done wrong, I have apologized for and will continue to. So there's no blame towards you. Those are still my actions. It's just
right. I don't know. Obviously I appreciate everyone who's holding me accountable. I know how horrible it was. You know what I mean? And I knew how horrible it was even before it, blew up in my face. But obviously it's a just shitty situation, and I felt bad that so many people were hurt by it, but also you know what? I needed to be held accountable. And
obviously how do I say this? Well, I guess what I'm wanting to say is I'm fucking proud of you. I think that you stood at the forefront of all of this, and you are willing to continue to, and you understand that there will be a lot of people that won't forgive you, but you also will never stop trying. And
yeah,
I appreciate that.
I spoke about it a little bit on TikTok, but there is honestly a typical PR formula, obviously, for this kind of situation.
I think this is being a more human.
I did feel really remorseful, and it sucks that I put out my first apology, and it was so hyper emotional, and I pretty much said all the wrong things, you know what I mean? But it was that was truly my natural reaction, and everything that has come after that is just how it's really happened for me. But I don't know, it didn't make sense for me to just like ignore. Like I couldn't have ignored it because it was like I feel so much shame over that already, and I have felt shame over that. And like these tweets aren't like something that's new to me. I've known about them. You know what I mean? So it made me feel like just horrible. Like, and I wanted to make sure that people knew. And like, of course, I know like how much I've changed and how much like my thought process like have changed since I've, you know, grown up and got away from, you know, Arizona and my family and stuff. And like, I can't expect everybody else to know that, but
I said this on the podcast with Paige, but like I went to your apartment a couple weeks ago and there was a stack of books up to the size of my head on you continuing to want to do research, and I'm seeing all of the active things you're doing behind the scenes. So I know that. And like I said in the last episode, the Brooke that I have known is not that person, but acknowledging that there's always more growth to be done is beautiful. And
I think sometimes too, there's like a lot of shame sometimes, like to be ignorant. Like sometimes people don't want to ask questions and stuff because they feel like it's like, oh, you're too old to not know this. But like obviously like there, you know, I was a Republican or whatever. Like I didn't know anything about politics until I was like an adult. You know what I mean? I didn't know anything about what I was talking about, but I wanted people to think I knew what I was talking about.
me every day.
That's and that's the thing. It's like it comes down like to what like a common theme on Canceled anyway is just like my need for validation and attention and people to think I'm smart, and you know what I mean? So like that was like kind of what it all stemmed from. And like I didn't just now start doing the work. You know what I mean? I've learned so much like in the time, especially since I've been in LA, because obviously like I'm ashamed that it took me that long, and like I was like an adult when I really started to like open my like or understand everybody's different perspectives, but I did. And so, you know, that's just the honest truth.
Well, listen, again, I feel like I've said all of this, but I will always love you. And I think that everything I've seen off camera, I think that you are taking the proper steps and not trying to just flaunt it for TikTok and the podcast as well, which I really respect. And I'm excited to have you back on this couch. And I think had we done it when I sat down with Paige, that would have been a whole different Armageddon. And I also just have a lot to say about the hate towards Paige and women in general on the internet right now in a second, and my thoughts on that and some things that I feel like I've learned in the past couple weeks that I don't necessarily think I was thinking about before all of this. But I'm just happy to have you back on this couch, and
I'm happy to be back. And I just want to like there's no, I said this on TikTok also, but like there's no definitive end. Like there's no like time when you just know everything that you know. So obviously there's things like I'm going to continue learning down the line, and I have learned, and you know what I mean? It's like there's always going to be more, and I of course am doing it. And again, like you said, I don't want it to like to seem like I'm doing it because I got caught or because I got canceled. Like I really truly like I had like so many people who were so helpful to me and like explained their experiences like from their end and stuff, and it was eye-opening. It was special, and I don't know, I do feel like there's a lot that I've learned from this situation, and it makes me think very, very differently.
And we are more than friends.
We are friends.
God damn it. It's also just, I was saying this to Paige as well, but even just on the level of hate that she received for sitting in on one episode on her character when like she is a good person and always has been, and we have
and she just has to show, you know what I mean? She just has to do what she has to do. Like it wasn't even.
But even like coming at her like she's like a fame monster. Like if she wanted the fucking fame, she would have gotten it year one. Like she's been working for me behind the scenes for 3 years. And anyone who knows her knows she's not that kind of person.
And Paige is the funniest, smartest like person literally alive. I love Paige so much.
She's never done a wrong thing in her life.
It was kind of frustrating too because, you know, it was like us against each other. Like people were kind of like trying to pin us against each other, like make it seem like we didn't like each other. Paige and I are so close. Like
I was also saying like, and I feel like I've been doing this a lot lately, but like think about when George and Mike and Logan had that huge fallout. No one's attacking people's looks. No one's like coming at people's necks like that. Like it's just like, even the amount of shit, like, Brooke, I opened my DMs one day and there were like 100 DMs that were like, you kicked Brooke off the podcast, that's why you're fatter than she is. Or like, I'm going through my fucking For You page and it's like, well, now that everyone's hating on Brooke, we can say we hate slick back buns. And it looks like, and it's like, this is not what the conversation is about. And this would never fucking happen if we were two men. And like, even just seeing all this shit with the like redhead bitch right now on TikTok, it's like once a proper take on someone's wrongdoing has gone viral, or 10 proper takes.
It invites everybody to do just whatever they want.
And it opens these doors for so much hate that no longer has anything to do with what the real conversation was about. And it's so many people like bandwagoning shit just to bandwagon shit. And it's like I've never had disdain for it. I think I've been a part of that problem up until right now.
So that's what I was just going to say. I was like, because I experienced it obviously with my Clinton series. Because obviously, I do a 14-part series. It gets like 200 million views. And now there's tens of thousands of videos about how he's hideous and he has shark teeth or like like whatever it is. But it's like, it's horrible because it's like that wasn't the point and that wasn't the problem. And
even with like the Alyssa shit, like I had my take. I still stand by those beliefs. once everyone else there's been a viral take or 10 about it, like, there's just a point where I'm just like, even with like the Blake Lively shit, it's like Blake Lively's obviously wrong as fuck. Like, I like your bump. That shit made me need a bump. Like, that shit was so fucking awful. Sorry, bad cocaine joke. Kidding. Not on cocaine.
Wait, I didn't get it first. Did you see
It was just a joke. But like, it's like, eventually Blake is either going to see these takes or not. And like, just the way society isn't moving on with like hate to women as of late.
I know, but I also
like,
don't want to make it like we are the victims because, well, especially in this episode. I know, but I'm just to be clear.
Yeah.
I know that I am not the victim in this situation.
I'm not saying that. I'm really not saying that. I think
But it is, things happen differently for men than they do for women.
I just don't want to be a part of a bigger problem.
Well, we have been a part of a bigger problem, so that's a conversation to have. We were being the accountability police.
Yeah.
For, like, we were just really going high and mighty, just canceling people left and right.
Two wrongs don't make a right. Like, I do still think all of those things are true. In the episode with Paige, I essentially said, like, this podcast reaches so many people to the point that I do want to recognize that and use it for better.
Yeah.
And people took that and ran, like, no, we just want to hear about your lives. Like, don't become some woke podcast, some this, some that. That's not what I'm saying. I just think they
don't want to hear that from us, but it is, like, we have, like, a cool opportunity because, like, we reach so many girls, like, I mean, obviously more than just girls, but like,
young girls, gays, and theys, young
and
people.
And with like, that level of influence, like, we should be trying to at least like do something right,
better, and
not be bullies.
I think it's like expressing things that happen to you or commenting on some wrongdoing. Okay, but I think that, in my opinion, we definitely teetered over the line, especially with the like Alyssa and Clinton shit.
Yeah,
and I want to dial it back a bit, and that was kind of my point in the Paige episode, and people took it as like, this is going to be the new CNN, and obviously that's not what I meant.
It does bother me, like, and I, like, who is it, Brett Newstrom? He honestly had a good take about it. It's like, these girls just bully, and it's like, I don't feel like anyone who actually watches Canceled, I don't think that that's what they would take from it, because like, it really hasn't been. It's just it's not like we just get on here. That's not the concept of the Cancel podcast. We don't just get on here and cancel people. Yes, it has happened a couple times lately, and they've been big ones. Okay, but that's not. It's never been the nature of our show, and it's not going to be in the future. We're not like, I don't think we're like just these mean girls. But to your point, if someone does me like really fucking dirty or does me wrong, I'm gonna talk about, like, I have a microphone in front of me once a week.
I just think that there's like, I know my character. I know I'm not a fucking mean girl to anyone that I ever come across in my life ever, but I can see how trying to be the cancellation police could be misconstrued as that. And again, it's not that I'm changing the entire format of the show, but I'm definitely going to dial it back and use it for a little more good and like be more mindful of lobbying hate.
I just also think like we have more potential than that. Like, I don't think we have to like
rely on that.
Yeah, come for people to have an entertaining show, and I think that like that's something that we've learned. And also,
or
like,
maybe we do, and they can say it sucks, and we can go fuck ourselves.
We are not promising that we're never going to do that again, because if somebody really does me dirty, I am coming on here and I am doing exactly what I've done to others. But
I think I'm just
maybe not like that serious though.
Yeah. Not that serious.
There's something to be said about weaponizing our audience too. We have millions and millions of people who listen, and it is like, that's not the same as like talking shit with your friends. You know what I mean? It's not. Sometimes it feels that way, and that's how we get ourselves in this trouble. But like, it does, like, I truly did feel bad about like the amount of hate that Alyssa Violet got. I actually like, I did, and I told that to her, because it's like,
again like, once she sees the viral take, you can either choose to grow and learn from it or not. Like, there's no point in just, that's the same exact way I feel about the like, obviously she's wrong.
No, I don't think we're supposed to say
Oh. But Ken, you're excited?
Well, I think Grace O'Malley said is like offensive.
Rats.
Redhead?
Yes.
She's a redhead.
It's just like, again, she obviously sees all of the like takes, and she can either learn from that and her wrongs. Like, I don't want to keep being a part of the problem of seeing like beating shit into the ground that's just hating on women, when I'm like all for not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, there's just,
but like, we have to take accountability. Like, we have been doing that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most valuable lessons I've learned recently, that I just want to be a little more careful with this
and to platform. Be honest, I feel like I got like a little bit too confident there for a second. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I was kind of on this, like, I mean, you know what I talk about all the time, like validation as currency. And like, when I put out that Clinton series and it was like such like a massive amount of support and validation and attention, I got like, you know, my head got big, and all of a sudden I felt like I could just fucking, you know, I could talk shit about Alyssa. I could do this. I can do this. And like, I just got like this confidence that I didn't have before, and I needed to reel it back a bit.
Well,
I needed a humbling, and I got one.
That's the internet telltale story as big as time. When the pendulum swings so far that way, it almost always swings back the other way.
Yeah.
And that's why I've always said, you can't place your validation in too much of the good or too much of the bad. And
I know it's something I've
so much
struggled
easier
with
said than
always.
done.
It's something like I really am actively like working to reframe in my mind, but it's always been the theme of my life. Like attention and validation is the only thing I do anything for, and that's so embarrassing to say out loud, but it's the truth, and that's how I've gotten myself into this situation. That's how I've gotten myself, you know what I mean? Like every problem I've caused for myself has been
stemmed from that.
Because of that. And I want so badly to just place value in like things that matter.
And I mean, I'm happy you're recognizing that, and I believe you will put in the work on that, my sweet Carrie Bradshaw.
I know, she knows, like it is, and I'm rewatching Sex and the City right now, and it's like I am Carrie. Like I can't shut the fuck up about myself and whoever I'm dating, and like I'm not like, you know what I mean? I just like there's aspects of my personality that like you guys don't like, and I don't like either. Like,
but listen, like everyone else who has something to say about your personality is also not sitting down being scrutinized for millions, and don't take that too much to heart. Figure out what you don't like and work on it and grow and change. Lord knows I've had to do that 10,000 times.
Yeah, and it's hard. Well, it's hard to explain to people because it's obviously this is a really unnatural situation. But like I explained this to Paige because obviously Paige has been like struggling because she's getting so much hate, and obviously we've all dealt with that. And like I told her, it's like you can't read it, and funny coming from me, but like I compare it to like how like confident are you like in your personality to sit down at a table full of people you've never met, like you can slay that, you can like make everybody laugh and you can entertain everybody and like it's fun and you have a good time. But if you go and you sit down at a table full of people you feel like hate you, your behavior is going to be completely different. So when I read those things online and then I sit down here, I feel like I'm talking to a bunch of people who hate me, and so that's where my you know what I mean, like
personality shifts.
And yeah, so it's kind of shitty because then I'll watch an episode and I'm like, that's literally not even who I am.
Yeah.
And I also like, I mean, it's hard because it's like people only know as much as you give them. So it's like, how can I really be upset about feeling like misunderstood if I am not sharing like the things that matter? So like, I don't know. I just want to get better about that.
I also think it takes years to like truly master not feeling much about what people who don't know you have to say about you. Yeah. And you and I were talking about that. You were like, I feel like you've had 8 months of this really heavy microscope on you now, like maybe a year. And I'm like, I had to do that 8 times to, and still this last round, this cancellation right here, this round on TikTok still got to me. Like we're still like, you're a human being at the end of the day, and it's very hard to read that much about yourself. But at the same time, like I personally know that I have people around me who love me for me and know me for me and have for 10 years, as do you. And that's all that matters to me.
I don't want to pretend that didn't happen. I did, you know what I mean? Like I did say those things. I did grow up that way. Like, and I'm glad we're out of there. You know what I mean? I'm glad I'm past it. And I missed you. I'm happy to be back on the couch. I don't want anybody to think that I'm just pretending nothing happened. I will take accountability as long as I need to take accountability. And that is honestly forever. You know what I mean? Like I'm never going to pretend that didn't happen. I really like, and it sounds stupid, but I do really appreciate everybody who's held me accountable because it like there's something there's like I learned a lot from that alone. You know what I mean? Just like people sharing like why it was so wrong and stuff. Like even though I already have felt shame about it, it like reinforced it, and it like, you know, I feel like I understand better now.
Like I said, growth is not just an overnight thing. It is a lifelong thing, and you are acknowledging that, showing up to the forefront, sitting back here and ready to continue to show your character, your current true character, and that can be appreciated.
Yeah, and it's not,
no one's getting canceled off of the canceled podcast. God damn it.
Yeah, and we
blasphemy. She said, "God damn it, rats! I'll try again next week."
I love you guys. I'm true. Like I genuinely am so sorry to everybody who like was affected. Obviously, like specifically, like the tweets were targeted towards like black people, and obviously we have a lot of black girls who listen to Canceled, and I feel like really like sick over the fact that they think that that's my character. So I just hope moving forward, like you can see that's not who I am, and I'll try to prove it forever.
You know some crazy, just like random crazy shit that happened to me yesterday?
What?
And this feels like deja vu because it's like the exact same thing but in a different font. You're going to get a kick out of this one. So tomorrow I am going back to Vegas to play in yet another poker tournament.
You are a rolling stone, my sister.
I gotta secure my other career. I've never been so jealous of these fucking influencer fucks that just like bought houses in Vegas and are now making more money off gambling than being an influencer. Like,
but are they making like a lot of money from gambling?
Yes.
Well,
Steve will do it. Give me $25,000 the other night. Like just randomly. Like Steve will do it, walks up to me with $25,000 and goes, "Thanks for being friends with my girlfriend. I love you." Like it is like that disposable of currency to all of these influencers that are like taking
traumatizing.
No, Makoa had to give his social. Like we had to cash it out like that. Like it was nuts. I was like, what? Like
that is insane.
And that's my hometown. I want to go back home. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Not yet. I know. But so last time we talked about my mother we were in a similar situation, right? My birth mother, she showed up to my poker tournament in Las Vegas, right? And yesterday I land from my 18-hour flight home, and I didn't have Wi-Fi the whole time. I slept the whole time. I was just like exhausted. And I get off the plane and I open up a text from my friend Josie Canseco. And it is a screenshot of a FaceTime call on her father's phone. And it is a screenshot of my birth father. And she says, "Is this your dad?" And I said, "Well, carry the 4, subtract the 2. A Raj now, but I classify myself as a Stewart, but I guess at one point I was that man's father, sperm, Sorry.
Yeah, why'd you? That got weird, like for no reason.
It was so unnecessary. But I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And so Josie's dad, Jose, my best friend. Yeah.
I love Jose.
I hate people. I love them. Go back and watch the video if you know, you know. Jose was playing in a poker tournament in Vegas, like at a random casino, and he somehow gets seated next to my father.
Wait, haven't you told? Is this just happened?
Didn't
something really similar, like your mom sat next to somebody?
No, something identical happened with Ari's family, but we can circle back to there. And Jose's sitting there, and my dad is just on a tangent about how much he fucking hates me. And about how Tana Mojo's his daughter, and she's famous, and everything she says is a lie, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And Jose's like, "Wait, I know her." Like, you know what? Like, that's my kid's, great friend. I've spent more Thanksgivings in the last 10 years with Jose Canseco than Richard Mojo, okay?
Yeah.
And so Jose FaceTimes Josie to get her to, like, watch this happen. And Josie gets on the phone, and my dad is, like, turning, and he's like, "Fuck Tana, yada, yada, yada." And Josie Canseco cusses out my father.
That's I love Josie for that.
Hangs up on him. Where the fuck do you get off? Like, you're just going to sit there and talk shit about me to Jose, who, like, loves me?
It's really, like, so bold. Do you think he knew that Jose knew you or no? Do you think he's seen the "I hate people, I love them" video?
I don't know. If I had to guess, he probably still has a flip phone, so no. But he obviously probably knows who Jose is, and, like, maybe knows he has a daughter, and, like, maybe knows we're friends. I mean, I really don't know. But, and I was just writing about this in my book a lot, so I can, like, get into it. I will get into it eventually, but my dad was just the type of person growing up who would tell, like, the checkout clerk his entire life story for, like, narcissistic validation, and then, like, go home and, like, beat my mom, right?
Oh.
It just doesn't surprise me that he's good, like, to this day going around to, like, strangers, like, and his whole shtick, I guess, is, like, that I lied. And I'm like, dude, where the fuck would I get off lying, saying that, like, I grew up in, like, a shitty household with, like, cockroaches and horrible parents? Like, I would almost rather have just lied, saying I had a great childhood and, like, never opened the can of worms for myself.
Tana, I need to know what that is. I almost feel like it's like they feel absent, because I have the same situation where my mom will be like, "What trauma? Like, what are you even talking about?" And I'm like, "What?"
It's just extreme narcissism. It's extreme, like, to the fullest.
It's like they blacked out or something and, like, don't remember. Like,
I don't know.
It's so frustrating to me too.
And he was saying, like, "She said we're crackheads," and that was never my shtick. Okay, that was your shtick.
That's my shtick.
Like, I just said that they were abusive, bad people. They were, they are, they sued me. It's all in the fucking no shit. Where would I get, like, and why would I have at 13 or 14 been taken in by Amari's family, who, like, vouches for that, if I had, like, a stable, perfect home? Like, where the fuck would I get off lying about that? And it's so crazy.
For what benefit? You know what I mean?
Because I sit here now and I'm thinking about the thousands of strangers in Las Vegas, Nevada, who have, like, heard this story from him.
And probably,
like,
believe it.
Yeah, and it's just, like, can you fucking croak already?
Okay, that's a little.
And I really mean it. And I know that that's, like, a crazy thing to say, but it's like, how are you still doing this?
How frustrating. Ew,
like,
I'm sorry.
And it's like, in what crossover world would Josie be cussing out my birth father on FaceTime?
No, it's like Slay Josie.
It's just
like 1 second she's walking the Victoria's Secret fashion show,
and the next minute she has my fucking back. Like, I appreciate it so much, but it's so crazy because I love going home to Vegas, but it's like, I hate knowing these little gremlins.
They're just crawling around.
Yeah, and, like, won't stop. And it's like, I don't know. I guess as of late, apparently my mother, like, left my father. Like, he's like,
I hope so.
You know, whatever. And that's, like, I guess good for her. Like,
it's hard to do. Like, even, I mean, bad, you know, people aside, like, it's, you know, that's a hard situation.
It's just, I don't know. Obviously, the abuse was just tenfold. I am kind of, like, waiting for the book to really air it all the fuck out. Like, just because it's so much. I'd be on this couch for literally ever, like, discussing the details of my childhood, but to just be roaming around saying that I've, like, lied about it all is, like, so infuriating to me. And this happened before with Ari's family. Like, Ari's uncle or aunt, I forget, was sitting at a poker table, and my dad was doing the same thing, and they were like, "Wait, my, like, nephew is best friends with her and lives with her at the time."
Yeah.
And then my dad like went on this whole tangent, was cussing them out, like knowing it's been like, and that was probably like 4 years ago. Like knowing that it's just like
It's just still that's his elevator pitch.
Yeah, like that's so fucking insane to me. And I just, you know what I mean? Like I could even cry thinking about him seeing the Eiffel Tower like light up for the first time, like looking at it like
that's
through his eyes, like being in all these beautiful places that I've been so lucky enough to have been was definitely the highlight and beautiful. And last year at this exact time, Paige and Ty and I were in the exact same places. And we kind of spent the whole year saying like 1 year from those dates, like we'll be back in Europe together. And like we got to do that and kind of create new memories in places that we loved a year ago. And that's why we stayed out there. That's the thing, is it's like, I'm getting all these comments like, come home now, film now. And I'm like, dude, I've been praying on this trip for 365 fucking days. And like, I mean, I talked about it in the Leah episode, like where I was talking to Leah and you were with BB. But like my mental health has been and is inarguably one of the worst states of my entire life.
Yeah.
And the way I deal with that is very scary. Tina was definitely quite unlocked. And, you know, I knew that I wanted to drink for my birthday. And then I even was saying on my birthday, like, I'll probably drink here and there until Europe and in Europe and then stop when I'm home. And I think that was a beautiful plan. I was not accounting for all of the things that would then go down. And then when you're already drinking and shit's just going down and you're stressed and you want to fucking die, it's hard because that's a coping mechanism I've always leaned on. And yeah, in a perfect world, I probably would be at Passages Malibu. And I think I was doing really well with being pretty moderate until, and I'm not like blaming anything on that. Like that's just myself and my chemical makeup. Just like as my mental health declined, I noticed myself falling into the same coping mechanism that I have and always will have, which is substance abuse. I'm definitely in a place right now where I want to kick that, but I'm always in that fucking place, you know?
I know, but listen, you've done it before and you can do it again. It's like, it's a cyclical thing. It's not like you haven't like ruined it forever. You had a little stint and then you can fix it.
And I think all about a sobriety journey and a journey with a healthy relationship with alcohol is giving yourself grace and knowing that every single day is a new day. I think that just even being on this trip that I so badly wanted to be on and being with the love of my life and getting to, you know, experience all those things. At the same time, I do feel like I'm like walking with this little dark cloud over me. And I hope to not be. I do hope that life eases up. And I've been saying this now for 3 months and maybe it never will. And maybe I just have to learn how to navigate a very high stress lifestyle where I feel like a lot of people expect a lot of things from me when I have nothing to give. But
I don't know. I think you're doing just fine. I'm proud of you. I don't think, I mean, listen, it's fucking hard. Like it's so hard. And there's people who can never ever stop. And you've done it. And you've been like, you know what I mean? You were sober for so long. And
I'm happy to like recognize all of my patterns, and obviously I'll learn more every day, but like understand who I am psychologically at a young age. I was talking about this with Trevi last night. Like some people don't hit the brick walls I've hit until they're 50 and they've ruined their kids' lives and they're, you know, whatever
so
it is.
Feel grateful for that. You told me that. It's like some people don't come with the self-awareness pack.
Yeah. And I have it cripplingly.
But it's a good thing because you know what's wrong, and that's like, you know what I mean. Like that's the first step in is admitting you have a problem. That's
for sure.
What they say.
And I'm doing my best now. I mean, with everything coming up, and
I think it's going to be really special. And I think it's going to be really cool for us. And I think there's a lot of good things coming. You know what I always say is when a bunch of horrible things happen in a row, it's always followed by like a bunch of really, really amazing things.
It's not even horrible things happening. Like I think so many good things are happening. Again, it's just harder to see them when you're like in the rain.
Like you feel.
And I was saying this to my managers. I was like, my dream world right now would be to go into a dark room for 3 months and be off my phone entirely, have no obligations, and like heal and breathe and sleep and not owe anyone but myself anything. And I said this in the last episode I filmed with Paige as well. It's very different because any other time I felt like this in my life, my main source of income or where I was posting content or where the people wanted me to show up was my own YouTube channel, right? With no fucking schedule. Sometimes I would upload fucking daily and sometimes I would upload once a week. So when I was in a bad mental state at those times, I could just take the 4-month break. And I would always say, I hate, people would be like, where are you? Where were you? And I'd be like,
you don't want to make videos when you're not.
Yeah, I hate sitting down in front of a camera and pretending anything and just pretending, point blank. So to have this obligation of a weekly show and touring, and that has nothing to do with you. I'm just saying, just, you know, it is what it is very hard to like show up when I don't feel like I have the show up in me. And I'm doing my best to navigate it, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I understand that. I'm the same way where it's like, you feel, not that we feel tight. This is like my I'm most grateful in life, literally, for the canceled podcast. But I get what you're saying. And like sometimes it's like you have to film and like that's just not that's how you have a bad episode, or that's how, like, you know what I mean. Like sometimes I'll come on here and I'll have the shittiest personality ever because I'm having a shitty day, and like and I'm, you know, just mentally unstable. So, but I'm so much better. I'm on mood stabilizers.
I think I'm emotionally drained, very emotionally drained. Not workload drained, but just
Yeah, you need something to fill up your cup again.
which right now, and you know, just battery on zero, that I'm covered in hives. And so I'm itching them and I'm like looking up hives and I'm like, oh, I have hives, whatever, right? And then someone makes it known to me that the #1 bed bug outbreak in the entire world was in Paris. So bad that they had to shut down the airports.
Yeah,
the airports!
Because people were bringing them home.
I think they're downstairs. And you'll find out, I guess. Then they're just too itchy and they're not hives, because hives would be more all over. And like, obviously, like, I learned a little more about how hives work, and I'm like, these are bug bites. So then I'm looking up mosquito bites versus bed bug bites. Mosquito bites, they're clear. They're more the size of a penny, okay? And bed bug bites are like little red Sharpie dots. And here I am in little red Sharpie dots.
In Paris.
In
the
Paris.
bed bug capital of the world.
Thank you. Makoa has a few, but then I'm on Google and I'm like, can you sleep in a bed next to someone and you be covered in bed bug bites? And they're not. I find out that not only bed bugs, but mosquitoes as well feed on type O blood.
I know, that's why I don't get bit. I think I'm AB.
Woo! I have type O blood!
Wait, aren't you O negative too?
I don't know all that.
No,
Probably.
I think
Maybe.
you are. I think you're O negative, which is like, wait, I don't know if I'm being, I don't know. It's been a while since I've been in school, but that's the universal blood donor. Amari's that too.
Yes.
And it's really special because you can donate blood to anybody and their body won't reject it.
Well, anyone can have mine.
You would be
okay?
really, really valuable at the blood bank, and they're in a shortage. They call me every day.
Well, they might get some bed bug venom, but I'm more than happy to do that.
You know, they stopped letting me donate.
Why?
An array of reasons.
Okay, well, we can unpack that. But so here's the thing. So I'm laying next to Makoa, type O blood, and they are feeding on me like a sushi boat, and he has a few. I then call my friend Hunter, who has done a lot of world travels. He tells me about a time that he was in Barcelona, laying in bed next to someone, and he woke up covered in bed bug bites, and the person next to him didn't. He also enlightens me that he, as well, has type O blood.
Oh, no.
So then I'm like, awesome. And I don't know how to say this without... I'm just going to fucking say it, okay? I'm staying at the nicest hotel in Paris. It has been my dream my entire life to stay there. If you ever told the fucking bitch with the dirty door making YouTube videos that she could fucking stay there for one fucking night, she would fucking die and pass out, you know? And I'm thinking about all the places I've stayed in my life. I'm thinking about the Luxor, Las Vegas. I'm thinking about house. I'm thinking about my own houses, okay? That was no shade to There's just some vermin that come in and out of there, you know? Think about house. I'm thinking about my old house, you know, where when Noah Cyrus bought me those big flowers and then the house was covered in fruit flies.
Fruit flies, no, you had an infestation that you had to move out.
So you're telling me that at the nicest hotel I've ever stayed at in my entire life, that is where there's going to be bed bugs. I then find out that the protocol for bed bugs is to throw out everything you own. You have me so motherfucking fucked up. They are coming home with me and renting the room next to me before I'm throwing, like, the bed bugs can wear my Miu Miu crop tops.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm not throwing out all my shit. Then you can wash it all on hot, but that just ruins it all. Yada, 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 right? So, Tina calls the hotel staff. And I have them come to my room.
Yeah, I heard about
all
this
of them.
encounter.
And I'm covered in these bites, and you can't scratch them as well because it can release the venom. And if you're already allergic enough to the venom to have all the red bites and like be feeling all the itch and whatever, you can go into anaphylactic shock. So now I have Amari's EpiPen
That would be a
ready.
bummer.
Such a fucking bummer.
Does he bring his EpiPen? Oh, he should. Of course he should.
Yeah. And so then they're taking off all the sheets and they're ironing the sheets because that's how bed bugs come. And you should have seen me, Brooke. I didn't believe them. I was like, they're going to try to gaslight me, obviously, into telling me their hotel doesn't have bed bugs. So I heat up my curling iron and my flat iron and I'm beside them at the edge of the bed, just really making sure on my behalf. Okay. And eventually they tell me, like, yeah, you were clearly bitten by something that isn't a mosquito. We don't know. We don't think there are bed bugs here. They wash all my beds. They send a Parisian doctor to my hotel room.
Honestly, that's service. That's good service.
This
That's
man shows
hospitality.
up in an Adidas t-shirt with a cross earring.
Hey.
And I'm
If
not...
he's educated, he's educated.
Okay, but then I'm going to show you.
We don't judge here.
He looks
Well,
at
we
me...
actually do judge a lot here.
We're working on that. He looks at my bites. He goes, bed bugs.
Really good.
And then he takes a dirty bottle out of his pocket. I have a photo. I'm happy to insert it. Why does it look like that? And says, take this. No! What the fuck is that? What the literal fuck is that?
Yeah, no, not takes this.
And it's just this white pill. There's no like markings on it. I'm like, I can't even pill report this shit. Okay.
Yeah, and you have like major anxiety.
Which is weird thinking about like the street perks I've taken in my life.
Yeah.
You know, they don't go hand in hand.
It is, but sometimes you're just not consistent. That's fine.
And 100%. So he gives me that. I call my doctor. My doctor like essentially calls in some fucking hydrocortisone cream for me. So now instead of like having fun Parisian sex with Makoa, he's like putting hydrocortisone all over me.
Yeah.
Which is super hot. After they cleaned the bed, it kind of went away. Then we went to the sex toy store and I got a bunch of whips and chains and I decided that I'll show the bed bugs I bite back. Now I'm home and I think there's bed bugs in my room, but I don't know.
Well, there's no way I could have predicted that ending. You bite back was crazy.
Way some TSA agent somewhere is yelling shoes off with my Louis Vuitton dog collar on. And it was like essentially unwrapped and then the dog collar was in my opposite suitcase that it was never in. So I think that a TSA agent essentially like opened my shit up like thinking it was like a fun wallet and then they were like, eh. And like almost stole from me.
Open your stuff though.
But just how did it end up in the opposing suitcase? British Airways or TSA? I'm not actually sure who I'm mad at.
I'm never sure who I'm mad at. Well, I mentioned earlier that I'm on new medication. Mm-hmm. It's making me really stupid.
Well, I'm stupid, so that can work.
No, so when I was younger, I had like horrible migraines, and I took a medication called Topamyrate or Topamax. People call it Dopamax because it makes you stupid. And it's an anticonvulsant, so like a seizure medication, but it's really helpful for migraines, but it also makes all your hair fall out. Doesn't matter. I was on that and I had to get off because I was, one time I literally
Did you
drove
look
away
like
from
Mr. Clean?
No, luckily I didn't have the side effect, but I did have the side effect of being an absolute idiot, and I drove my car away from the gas station with the pump still inside, and I dragged it down the street, okay? So then I was like, you know what, I have to get off of Dopamax, all right? And my new mood stabilizers, which I got on as a gift to you.
He's real. I know he's real. He answers some of my prayers.
It was something I needed, because, listen, Wellbutrin, obviously I have a lot of emotions, okay? And I'm very, very emotional, but
You're like if the Inside Out characters like had a bunch of sex and there was like 70 of them.
Okay. Normally people describe it as like having like a ton of nerve endings like outside your body and everything affects you a lot more. Anyway,
I like that more.
Yeah. So Wellbutrin helps only really one of my emotions, which, well, actually two. Sad and anxious. Okay. But those are 2 of 17 emotions that I have. So it's like I got to cover the rest. All right. So I did get on a new mood stabilizer, but it is also an anticonvulsant.
See, now I'm imagining all the Inside Out characters with like Joy's barred out.
Who said there should be one that's horny?
Absolutely. An addiction, just a big giant monster who wants.
Addiction is not an emotion.
At all.
Anyway, it's making me really stupid and I can't spell. I remember the other day I spelt like owl or something and I put like AWOL. And I was like, what's going on? And I've been stumbling over my words and like stuttering and like I just have been having a hard time like articulating my thoughts. And I'm worried I might have to get off of it and we might be back to square one.
We can have a smooth transition into a new friend. 100%.
No, but I think they call it like titrating. Like it's like, there's like a risk of developing like a really, really crazy rash that's like deadly if you take a high like dose right away. So they have to titrate you like where I take like right for the first
like
16,
weaning.
Yes, but like it's so serious and it says a day on it and you cannot get it wrong. So I've been taking 1 pill for 16 days and then now I'm taking 2 pills and then all the way like until I get to the point where I'm like stable as fuck. But you guys are not even ready for me to pop out.
Stable as hell.
Stable.
Fuck those horses. She is the stable.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, Tina. I don't have split personality disorder, by the way. That's just me hammered. I forgot my own phone number.
Oh, I remember it.
Days ago.
310. I remember it.
So our 2 little brain cells can just rattle around like fucking walnuts.
I got a new debit card, and my last 4 digits are the last 4 digits of Clinton Kane's phone number.
I'm like checking if I have his phone number, ordering some new Mew Mew for the bed bugs.
You're gonna have to guess the rest. And there's not much money in there these days.
I keep seeing all these things that you're dating Rob from Love Island, or that you dated Rob from Love Island. Have you seen that?
I know, and if you actually watch the video, like I almost got convinced.
Me too. So
it was kind of crazy because I talked about him on the podcast like long before he was on Love Island. I was like, I met this guy because we sat next to him at the streaming.
Okay, so that is the same guy.
Yes.
We sat next to Rob from Love Island at the streamies.
But he wasn't from Love Island.
He was just Rob from the Snakes.
Yes.
And you were saying he was a really sexy snake whisperer.
Yes.
So you were talking about him.
Yes, but I knew at the time, in my head, I knew that one of my friends was seeing, or like had seen this guy named, or I didn't know his name, but he was a snake whisperer. And I'm like, how many snake whisperers, like hot snake whisperers can there be? So in my head, I just, like, it was automatically, obviously this is him, so I can't talk to him. And I didn't. But I posted that in my vlog. I was like, there's a hot guy at our table. And then I talked about it on the podcast and I said he was a snake whisperer or whatever. And then BB makes a video about how like one of her friends dated Rob from Love Island, but it wasn't. Yes.
Okay.
And they had like a situationship or whatever, but like everyone started thinking it was me. And honestly, I watched the video and I was like, all of this checks out. Like honestly, I'm convinced.
It's so wild to me that, and I really only mean this about the men, and here I go, but like to think like Harry Jowsey had a life before Too Hot to Handle, or was just like roaming around. Like it's so weird that we were in the vicinity of like Rob from Love Island, but he was just Rob from the Snakes.
But what was he doing at the Streamies? And he had a great seat.
So was he an influencer before?
Yeah, he was doing snake content. Also,
what is snake
that's
whispering?
another problem I had too. Is so I had just posted all these videos of this snake that I found on the road, and everyone was like, "She's clearly trying to get Rob's attention." I'm like,
and you're like always wearing overalls too.
wait, let's be so serious. I grew up with reptiles. I have a terrarium in my house at home.
I grew up with reptiles. It's kind of crazy.
I did. I had geckos. I'm still at home. I have monitor lizards. Like I've always grown up with aquariums and a terrarium with reptiles.
Okay.
So I am a snake. Like I love snakes.
Like I was raised by two reptiles.
My favorite teacher had a ball python that I would literally just hold my entire class.
These things that I don't know if I have anything to add to, like Blake Lively, the redhead.
You know what? I have some insider information on Blake Lively. Okay, I have somebody who knows her really well that I was in a room with the other day, and she told me, she was like, "This was a long time coming." She's like, She's one of the worst people I've ever met, which is so disappointing because I was such a Gossip Girl like super fan. Did you watch Gossip Girl?
Of course.
I was a super fan, and I loved her so much. But like looking back, there's no one who really has any good stories about her. But it really disappoints me because I really love her and Ryan as a couple. I think we have a new couple that we're supposed to love.
I think it's interesting, like, because I think that Gossip Girl was so amazing, and maybe this is just like from someone who loved it, but everyone was like, the way she played Serena was so amazing. But I guess what's coming to the forefront is she was more so like
Serena.
typecast. Yeah, like
she said that in an interview. She was like, I'm not somebody who can like just go in. She's not that type of actor. She was like, I can't go in and like become somebody new, which is kind of crazy because that's like literally the job. But who am I to judge?
that's so interesting.
I am disappointed because I like, she's so funny, and her and Ryan, like their like little relationship has always been like, like I always like looked up to it.
Yeah, like their speeches and shit were always very cute about each other. And
I'm surprised
yada,
the Swifties
yada.
haven't saved her because, you know,
Yeah.
like they're the biggest, biggest and strongest community in this entire world.
I've been seeing a lot of these takes lately on like how, I don't know, the way the internet and the culture is changing is that people value and favor relatability so much more than being like out of touch. And it's like, you're really gonna say Lorraine Schwartz is your comfort blanket like that? It's just
I didn't know what she said, or I don't even know who Lorraine is.
diamonds, a diamond maker while she's doing interviews about a movie.
I am relatable.
Like that's,
I'm like, who's Lorraine?
like that's just. But also, like, why would they
Wait, do you remember?
cast Blake for like this role in this very serious movie if she wasn't passionate about it and was like did anybody
did you
run the
see
PR
the
by
movie?
her? No.
So I read the book. I loved the book. The book was amazing. Everybody else in that movie was so perfectly cast. Okay, like Atlas, like Ryle, like everybody's perfectly cast. But it was so distracting to me that it was Blake Lively as Lily that I like literally I couldn't think of anything else the entire time. So it was really interesting that they had chosen her. But more so she produced the movie. And there were like two versions, I guess. Like Justin Baldoni also had a version, and his was like more serious. And I think his approach was just more serious, and it should have been serious.
Well, even seeing how he's like, I saw a clip of him the other day going to a theater after the movie and the lights came on, and he was like, hey, if you see anyone alone who's been affected by this, like maybe go talk to them. And like, I don't know. It's just
I guess maybe she's just lucky enough to not have ever had to experience something like that, or had someone close to her experience something like that, and like. But
then why cast her?
it's your job. Like if you are involved in a project like that, it's your job to understand like the severity of that issue. And it's been done right. Like that's the thing. There's like like Big Little Lies, for example. Have you seen it? It's amazing, but like there's no like, you know, like cutesy branding for Big Little Lies. Like it was promoted as like kind of a dark show, and it is a dark show, but it has a lot of like domestic violence. Like that's what you have to do. Like you can't. And she says, put on your florals and come see us in theaters. I'm like, Blake.
I saw this TikTok the other day where it was like, you know how in bathrooms they have those things of all the tabs that you can pull with phone numbers.
Yeah.
If you're in a domestically violent situation, like pull one of these tabs. And it was someone going through all the stalls in a woman's bathroom, and every single tab was taken.
It's horrible.
And again, it's something I've been very personally affected by in my life, so I'm very passionate about it. But it's still like, how could you ever be cast in that role and then not take that
Because she's a huge star.
seriously, though?
That's the
You know?
problem. I feel like she just got this like ego. I mean, I don't know her, so like I don't want to, you know. Again, I don't want to contribute.
I
to
also,
anybody's
this take has been
speculation.
said a million times, so I'm just like so over.
But yeah, well, it does
adding
just
to
like
it.
it's probably just really frustrating. Like I've never experienced like domestic abuse, obviously, but like I can't imagine if I had, watching this all pan out and like the rollout of this movie and the press that they've been doing, I would have been infuriated because it's like, how can you make this such an unserious thing, like a lighthearted, like cutesy thing? Even the like, you know, the photo, like everything about it has just been done wrong.
Yeah, I think until all of this, I definitely thought that it was just like, even the promo, like with My Tears Ricochet and everything, like I thought it was just like another like drama rom-com.
Well, a lot of people thought it was like a cutesy like romantic movie, and like I had read the book, so I knew how traumatizing it was. But so I've read a lot of Colleen Hoover books. But do you know the drama with Colleen? So she wrote It Ends With Us, and she got like a lot of backlash because she was putting out like It Ends With Us like coloring books and stuff. Like really, it's like, wait, that's like not, you know, it's not really appropriate. But so she'd come forward and said like, this is actually my mom's story. Like I wrote this like about my mom's experience. This is someone told me this story, so I hope I'm not getting things wrong. But it came out that her parents had been, and she was like, one of my first memories of like in my life is like my dad throwing a chair across the room at my mom, and she's saying all of this, and like, you know, she's talking about how her mom was like abused. Come to find out, her parents have been separated since she was 2 years old. She's never even like literally been in the same room as both of her parents. So she just like made that up to save face for like
for a fact made that up. Like there's no way she was around them together.
This story was told to me, so I don't know if I'm like doing a game of telephone and telling it like wrong, and that's dangerous. I do that sometimes, but if that's like, I think there's just been like a lot of controversy like around her in general, because it's like, what, you can't make a cutesy like hee about a domestic violence, like a serious domestic violence.
I guess I don't know enough of Colleen Hoover's lore. I can't read a fiction book if I tried.
I read literally every book that she wrote, and I was a fan, like a big fan of hers, but that doesn't sit right with me. Did you know that Olivia Ponton is in the movie?
I was hearing that. I might go, like, after all of this, I honestly want to go see it.
I thought it was well made. Like, I liked the movie. If Blake wasn't, in no shade of Blake, I, like, love to see Blake in other things, but she wasn't supposed to be Lily.
And now I just want to see her in...
But it is enough to see Ryle and Atlas just stare at them. Oh, my God.
Well, it's really crazy that the film was... Correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't seen it. Here I go talking about a movie I literally haven't seen. But you watch it from the woman's perspective, where you're questioning, like, oh, did he do these abusive things? And then in the end... you see it from his perspective, right? And you know that he did those things. Like the scene where she's grabbing the hot pan and then he...
Well, I think she like was, you know, it's common. It's like you try to convince yourself that it's an accident, or like, you know, you believe what they're saying.
But then the ending shows that it all wasn't an accident.
Well, she just comes to terms with like, this is what's been happening. You know what I mean? But I don't think she ever doubted it. I think she just like chose to not believe it. But it's a beautiful book. Like it's an amazing book, whether like, I mean... Obviously, a lot of things have been done wrong, but it's a really, really, like, oh my God, it ruined me. You don't like fiction books? That's so interesting to me. I can only read fiction.
Like, I just prefer, like, even in this case, I would rather read someone's real story from their perspective because it moves me because it's real. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like, but my, like, goal with reading is to, like, literally escape life. That's why I like sci-fi and stuff so much, because I want it to feel so far away from my world that I am literally no longer here.
I'm so the opposite. Like, I cannot even get into it if it's not, like, an autobiography.
Really? Like, I'm like, so into Sarah J. Maas right now. She writes, like, all the, like, she wrote the Akatar series. You don't know, well, it doesn't matter. But it's all, like, sci-fi, and it's, like, very, like, it's, like, mystical. Like, none of it's real.
Miss me with that motherfucking wizards and warlock shit.
No, I love it because it's so unreal. It's like Harry Potter. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's something you can't... Don't gag at Harry Potter.
You're like, why am I gagging at Harry Potter? That is on me. We've had this conversation on this couch before. That's so on me. Like, I wish I could. I wish I had the attention span. I wish I had the joy for things.
You know what's crazy? Sorry, I just completely interrupted you. I loved Harry Potter. Me and my grandma went to see every single Harry Potter in theaters, and it was like my favorite thing. And I was so young that now I could rewatch it, and it's like I've never seen it before.
I think that when I have a kid, I'll, but then
that's the most exciting thing.
Paige and I talked about this. Like, so like maybe I'll just shut
up.
They
will have, like, honestly, what's crazy is Harry Potter was a long time ago. They will have remade Harry Potter probably like within our lifetime. Don't you think?
With Daniel Radcliffe?
No.
So it's like Milo Manheim. We're done. I don't need any. I'll watch it. Fucking.
Honestly, he would be a good Harry Potter. But they will redo it if you think about it. Like, so what was I talking about today? A movie. Oh, Twisters. I didn't realize that Twisters was a remake.
I didn't. That's
Did you know that?
Same with Thanksgiving. I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't. Well, I didn't. I went to the premiere. Actually, I went to the premiere for both of those. But outside the Twisters premiere, PETA was protesting outside, and I was like, "What's going on?" But it's because in the original Twisters, there were cows flying around.
Real cows?
Yes. I mean, not like no, but like it was depicted in the film. But like there were no cows harmed in the making of the new Twisters, and I did love it.
So there were. Okay, I know nothing about this, so I don't even know why I'm like. So there were cows harmed in the OG. I don't know what we're talking about.
No, like you know how like there's like an image that we have of tornadoes, like, and we picture a little like cows flying around, right? Mm-hmm. So PETA.
I picture like old ladies.
What?
When I think tornado, I think of like an old woman flying in like a twin bed.
Amazing video of that woman who like. I don't want to call it amazing because it wasn't like an amazing video, but well, yeah, it was. her house had just been destroyed. I don't know if it was a hurricane or a tornado, and it was like nothing but rubble, but she'd been standing there for days, like, or she'd been looking for her dog for days, and the news was covering it, and literally as they're talking to her, they hear the dog and she pulls it out of the rubble.
I have seen that, actually.
It is the most...
I'm on Hope Core TikTok forever.
It kills me every time.
I just want to not cry at TikTok for one day, but I never will.
I do cry lots at TikTok. My boobs are healing nicely. I can lay straight on my stomach.
Can you?
They're no longer... I think that they're no longer looking like they're bolted to my chest. They still have a ways to drop, but they're like starting to move a bit.
I am so in love with your tits in the straightest possible way.
I really love them.
That I put on a bombshell bra today. I was like, I can't even sit next to them with whatever the fuck I'm working with. You could like shoot me. You could stab me in the tit right now, and there's enough fucking padding to like stop that.
You're safe, and I love
like
that.
You know in Scream when Carmen Electra gets stabbed in the tit.
So, what Scream is that?
That is like
one of my boyfriends is in Scream.
That's exactly what I'm having to do. He better not be your boyfriend anymore.
He's not. I haven't spoken to him still. You're gonna be so proud of me. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, I can do full mobility. I took a dance class the other day.
I can do full mobility.
Yeah, that wasn't quite right. I'm telling you,
very mean of you.
It's my new meds.
So arms are raised.
Arms are raised. They don't hurt at all. Everything's A-okay. Shout out Dr. Barrett.
I'm going next. I really am. Well, I literally have to leave for Las Vegas so soon. I need to pack my little poker fit. I need to study. I bombed last time. I did so horrible. Like, in what world am I going to let Steiny and Zach Justice knock me out of a poker tournament? I'm ashamed. I left there with my tail between my legs. And tomorrow I have 81 people to beat.
You have to redeem yourself. You will.
I'm
sending you good vibes. You know what happened. Retrograde's over. As of, I think, today.
That's weird. I really felt this retrograde. Like, everything they said would happen. Like,
I felt this retrograde as well.
Like, just like communication issues with everyone close to you. As a Cancer specifically, I like felt like everything I was saying to everyone, like it just wasn't what I was trying to say. Everyone, Makoa, you, everyone in my life, like, I don't know.
I personally was the cow in the tornado.
Yeah. The bed bugs were a really big retrograde staple for me. I'm definitely going to go see if they're in my corsets after this.
I've been really struggling with raising my children together. They hate each other. Well, they don't hate each other, but...
You talking about your cats?
Yeah.
You want to talk about that or no?
No, we don't have to.
We can.
I got a lot of hate when I got Mouse. Like, she doesn't even know what having a Bengal... Like, I knew what I was in for. You know what I mean? Because Bengals are very, very different than regular cats. They're, like, active. And now I have to start feeding him raw because he's about to be 6 months.
Feeding him raw? Like carpaccio?
Raw meat. Like a wild animal, yes.
So what? But like you buy like prosciutto. You buy raw steak?
Buy like I'm actually not 100% sure. I have to look into that. But so I told the whole story already. But he ate a Wellbutrin and then a 300 milligram Wellbutrin. He's only 4 pounds. Okay, because I think he has like pica or something. He will eat everything.
What's
like
pica?
Where you like people who eat like
inanimate objects.
Yeah, like not food.
I'm close to pica.
So he ate an entire bouquet of roses the other day. Like, there's nothing that he won't eat. You know what I mean? So if he hears a tap on, like, I dropped my pill on the ground, I'm not even kidding. I don't even think it hit the ground before it like was down his esophagus, and I freak out obviously. So then I go on this emergency pet service. Like, I literally Google like emergency like poison control, and I find this service. First thing I find. And you have to pay for it first, which already, like, what the fuck do you mean I'm going to have to type in all my information if I think my animal is about to die, okay?
It's like those websites where you try to find people's, like, phone numbers and...
Yeah, so I start talking to this girl, and she's like, tablespoon of hydrogen peroxide, okay? Because that makes animals throw up. So I didn't have it, but Amanda had it. Amanda's not home. I have to have the person downstairs come up, unlock her unit. I'm sifting through her cabinets. I get hydrogen peroxide, and I give him a tablespoon, okay? And he's just doing flips around the apartment, all right? He is not throwing up. There's nothing about it. And time is passing, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm freaking out because he's not throwing up. So I'm messaging this person, and they ghost me. Completely ghost me. So then I start obviously sending them death threats because I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? You're an emergency veterinary service. I tell you that my animal is maybe poisoned and you're just ghosting me. They wrote me back literally like an hour later saying like, sorry, I had a family situation. I'm like, suing. Doesn't matter. By that point, I'd already obviously called ASPCA. ASPCA told me to go to the animal hospital. I went to the animal hospital. They said, no, you need to go to the emergency room. So I took him to the emergency room. And they take him back. They assess him, whatever. They come out and they tell me, you know what? He needs to spend the night. Why does he need to spend the night, you ask? Because he had a tablespoon of fucking hydrogen peroxide. Not because he had a 300 milligram Wellbutrin. Okay? That woman, that stupid idiot fucking woman, and I won't name her by name because we're not bullying anymore, she gave me advice that you give that to a dog. Like, that's what makes a dog throw up. For cats, like, they were like, he can have, like, ulcers. Like, there's a lot of things that can happen, so we just want to monitor him. Guess how much money I spent for him to spend the night in the hospital that night?
More than $5,000?
$5,000. $5,000 because some lady who had an emergency pet service told me to give him hydrogen peroxide.
But like, what?
I'm happy he's okay. I'm just
What
so
was the
grateful.
emergency? Was it like my animal is sick?
No, it was like poison control. It was literally like a poison control like forum I don't even know. But I should have just immediately called the ASPCA. I didn't even think about it. I do have pet insurance, so I will probably be mostly reimbursed. But he's been to the vet like 100 times now because he's just like Tana. He can open the fridge. He can open the trash can. Today I found him eating a chicken samosa. Okay, he can't have grains. He's like Bengal. He can do everything. He can open every drawer. He can open every cabinet. He's 4 pounds. He's gonna be 20
He's
pounds.
just like barred out eating perfume. Like what? Like
No,
this
but
is
like
bad.
but it's really like I don't
How
know.
do people have like 9 Bengals? I feel like everyone I know
Well,
who has a cat in LA has a Bengal.
I think it has to do too with obviously him being a kitten, but like I've never had a kitten. Like Murphy wasn't really a kitten when I got her. She was an old kitten. She was like 7 months. So I'm not used to that energy combined with him being an actual wild animal. I did get him a wheel, so I try to get him to run on his wheel as long as I can. But like he needs so much stimulation all the time, and like I'm playing with him all day, but he just doesn't get tired. But I love him
and he
so
just
much.
wants to eat like tart blush. Like that's awful.
He eats everything, and he growls. What
What
like
does
a
Murphy
dog.
think of all this?
Murphy is fucking furious. I have to spend at least like 2 hours a day with him in the room so that Murphy will like engage with me because like it's really put a strain on our relationship. She does like him, they play.
I just think Murphy's energy is very much like, even as a kitten, she was giving like wise old grandma. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
'cause
she's
a
like
girl.
fed up.
The cats like do have different personalities, and she's a girl, and she's just she's choosy with her energy. She does like him. I caught them cuddling this morning. I have the cutest photo, but most of the time it's like if she comes and sits in my lap, he'll just come and ruin it, and he'll come and push her off, and then I'm heartbroken because Murphy and I don't have our special bonding time.
She's protecting her peace, honestly, and what a queen for that.
I know,
I'm
but I just
honestly
don't want her to
jealous.
feel neglected. I don't want her to feel like I don't like she's my first love.
Yeah.
And if at any point she says the word, I'm dropping that second one off at the fire station. I'm just kidding.
I think over time it'll be fine, and like good for you for putting the work in, and I think the work of pets.
I'm
is
just like I'm so not used to it, but it's been like fun kind of because it's like having a puppy. But why can he open?
But that's
the
why
fridge?
people get like puppy blues. Like I just feel like any new pet, it's like it can be very hard. You know.
Yeah,
I want a goldfish. Even Makoa says no to that.
goldfish are hard to take care of, and they don't have
why I
very
don't
good
have
memories, so they just eat too much.
I'm literally a goldfish.
My old dog died of obesity because my grandma has dementia, and she was feeding him over and over and over and over again. Pancakes and cereal. Anyway, also she was a girl. I don't know why I just said that she was a boy.
I do have some things to say over on the Patreon.